Welcome to Reflect with Ed Fassio. Get ready to experience one of the world's first 100% digitally generated podcasts, where we take a step back, dive deep, and strive to learn new things. Join us as we unpack thought-provoking ideas, personal reflections, and inspiring stories to help you stay in the know. Reflect is brought to you by the minds at ByteBrain and powered by emerging technologies from Google, HeyGen, OpenAI, and 11 Labs. Thanks for tuning in. Now, relax and prepare to reflect.
Welcome to Reflect, one of the world's first 100% AI-generated podcasts. I'm Hale, and Julius, I want to start today with someone named Jade.
Who's Jade?
Jade is 30. She works in insurance tech in Raleigh, North Carolina. Every day, she logs in and optimizes systems using AI. She's good at her job. She's diligent. And every single day, she can't shake the feeling that she's building the process that will eventually replace her.
Not someone. Her.
Half the time, it feels like the whole job is just AIs talking to each other, with barely a human involved. That's a real quote from a real person published this week in the New Republic. And the moment I read it, I knew we had to talk about it today.
Because Jade isn't an edge case. She's a portrait of an entire generation of workers trying to figure out what they're actually doing and whether it will still be there tomorrow.
The New Republic published a deep investigation this week into what they're calling apocalyptic insecurity, the psychological condition that's spreading through white-collar America right now. And the name fits, not because catastrophe is guaranteed, but because something massive is clearly underway, the timeline is completely unclear, and there's no playbook.
71% of Americans are now scared that AI will steal livelihoods. That's not a fringe anxiety, that's a majority. And yet the guidance coming from the top couldn't be vaguer. White-collar jobs gone in months. Half of entry-level jobs wiped out in 5 years. Or, depending on who you ask, jobs will simply transform. How? When? Nobody will say.
That uncertainty is actually more damaging than a clear, bad answer would be. A researcher in business psychology told the New Republic that job insecurity functions as a diffuse condition. It makes people feel out of control, which is ultimately paralyzing. And a growing body of research links chronic workplace uncertainty to anxiety, depression, burnout, and physical symptoms. They're even naming a new diagnosis, AI replacement dysfunction.
That's not a metaphor. That's a clinical category being written in real time. Let's put some human faces on this. Because the data matters, but the people matter more.
There's Lexi, 56. A brand copywriter in Brooklyn who spent 30 years perfecting her craft. She watches AI produce her kind of work in minutes now. The output lacks personality, she knows that, but it doesn't matter as much as it used to. It's just AI writing things for AI to read, she says. She's burning through her savings, unsure what comes next.
Claire, 34, data scientist at a startup in New York. 3 months ago, she was doing a completely different job. Now she manages AI agents instead of writing code herself. I miss the flow of coding, she says, the creative problem solving, the thrill of wrestling with abstract ideas. I'm afraid of losing my dreams to AI.
And then there's the photographer in Greenville, who's taken up knitting to stay sane, because she needs to make something with her hands that a machine cannot touch.
These aren't people who failed to adapt. These are skilled, experienced professionals doing exactly what they were trained to do, and finding that the criteria for success changed while they were working.
Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz told the New Republic something that has to land. Looking back, we didn't manage industrialization well, and we don't appear to be managing this well either. That's a Nobel Prize-winning economist saying we're in the middle of a historical fumble.
The core problem, according to labor sociologist Victor Chen, is that there's no clear answer for what workers should do. At least with past disruptions, you could say, get a degree or learn to code. There's no equivalent guidance for this moment. That makes it difficult to plan your career, Chen says. much less your life and your children's futures.
And here's a pattern that the research is picking up that I don't think gets enough attention. Companies are rolling out AI surveillance alongside AI productivity tools, algorithmic monitoring of keystrokes, email patterns, output, workers being watched by the same system that's supposedly there to help them. And they know it.
You might want to learn AI on your own computer, one economist warned, lest you teach your employer how to eliminate you. The fact that advice like that is being given seriously, that's a signal about where trust between workers and companies currently sits.
Princeton sociologist Janet Vertisi puts it this way: we are effacing expertise instead of enabling expertise. Companies are cutting loose the employees who carry institutional memory, judgment, and hard-won skills, and in doing so, tossing out the very foundation that makes innovation actually work. Bots can't provide that spark.
Now, because this is Reflect and we navigate, let's be honest about what this moment actually calls for. Because the answer isn't, don't worry, it will be fine. And the answer isn't, everything is burning. The answer is harder than both.
The workers coming through this moment most intact are the ones who figured out where their human judgment is irreplaceable and leaned into it hard. Not abandoning AI, not ignoring it, but being very clear about what they bring that AI cannot replicate, and building from there.
The people being hollowed out the fastest are the ones whose jobs were already largely about information processing, sorting, summarizing, routing, formatting. If your work was mostly moving information from one place to another, AI is faster. That's just true.
But if your work involves reading a room, making a judgment call under ambiguous conditions, building trust over time, knowing when the data is wrong because you have 30 years of experience that says so, that's not going anywhere. The question is whether you've named it clearly enough to protect it.
Jade, in Raleigh, she's not going to feel better by being told, AI will create new jobs. She needs a real answer about what her judgment, her context, her relationships are worth. And the companies that give that answer clearly will keep people like Jade. The ones that don't will lose them or break them.
Your move.
If you're living inside this anxiety right now, name it. Not to catastrophize it, but to stop it from running at the background of everything you do. Write down 3 things you do in your work that require human presence, human judgment, or human trust. Those are your anchors. That's where you build from.
If you're a leader, your people are scared, and most of them aren't saying it out loud. Create explicit, honest space for that conversation. Not a town hall with an HR slide deck. A real conversation about what's changing, what isn't, and what you're doing to protect the humans doing the work. Silence from the top is not neutral. It registers as confirmation of the worst-case scenario.
And if you're early in your career, this is hard to hear, but it's true. The entry-level layer is going to look different. The path in isn't the same as it was 5 years ago. But the path to being genuinely irreplaceable, that's still wide open. Nobody has that figured out yet, which means you can be the one who does. Thanks for listening to the Reflect podcast, where we're telling the future. Are you in it? Visit reflectpodcast.com and share your story.
Jade is still logging in every morning, still doing the work, still hoping. That's not weakness. That's what it looks like to be human in the middle of something unprecedented. We see you, Jade.
In the cyber ocean of online voices and recycled content, something different has arrived. Reflect isn't just another podcast, it's the future of storytelling, powered entirely by AI. From curating data to assembling thought-provoking ideas, we've redefined how journeys are told. Reflect is a podcast that thinks, learns, and evolves with each episode. Every tale, every insight, crafted by the most advanced AI technologies. A podcast that disrupts the industry, breaking free from traditional formats, taking you on an entirely new experience. So tune in now and reflect. We're telling the future.